Well, hello. We're back here today with the president of Populist Cleaning out in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Mike Eller. Populist was formed in 1980, and it started out as a mom and pop cleaning company. And their original model was to go out and clean churches. And with a lot of hard work and an unrelenting commitment to quality and service, they've become much more. And now Populist, they serve a whole range of businesses and organizations throughout Southeast Michigan. And even though they're getting snow today, I thought it was great to have Mike on because, I think the biggest question, Mike, and thank you for being here, is that, for the broader spectrum of businesses and business owners, for the past month or so, we've been hearing about OSHA. And all the things that were going on with OSHA. And I would imagine, or I would assume that you and your clients have always been thinking about OSHA, and particularly as it comes to COVID. How much is OSHA affecting your world, your clients, and the things that all of you are concerned about as it relates to OSHA and COVID? So again, thank you for being here and love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, Rick. It's really an honor to be on your show here today, and thank you for having me. We appreciate everything that you do and your firm does for our outfit. We've had a great relationship over the last year. Yeah, it's snowing here today, and so it's a good day to be inside doing stuff like this. I'll get the shovel out here in a bit. Related to OSHA, there's sort of a two-part answer to your question, and the first part, I think there's a growing sentiment here, and at the risk of being controversial or politically incorrect, but as I speak more and more with business owners, there's certainly OSHA is no ally of small business, and business owners know this. And we dodged a bullet here a few weeks ago to avoid the potential slippery slope of overreach, OSHA coming into our daily lives and our workplace. And I think it's important to understand that, and most people may not realize this, that constitutionally, which is the law of the land, OSHA has no authority to meddle in the daily affairs of private enterprise. There is no constitutional authority for a governmental agency, a federal agency, to be in the affairs of private enterprise. That said, so Congress should defund at a minimum and eliminate, hopefully. That said, the second part of the answer is they are here. They do exist. We live in a world of reality, and there are rules to play by, or we face consequences. So for us in our sector, in the cleaning industry, OSHA has not been one to really step in and make things difficult for us, maybe like in the manufacturing sector or healthcare, things like that. So the cleaning business is a little bit, I guess, of a lower profile, I guess you could say, but that doesn't diminish the importance of job workplace safety. And so we take that very seriously. And there's a couple of basic things that we have to pay attention to all the time. The use of chemicals in facilities, the use of cleaning equipment in facilities, and then of course the biggest issue that we face and are always paying attention to is a slip and fall hazard. If we work around, as we work around people, are we cleaning floors? Is there potential for slip and fall? So there's constant training going around all of that for our staff as we onboard, as we train, as we follow up. And we've had a really good record over the years of that kind of stuff, stayed out of hot water with accidents and things of that nature. So it is something that's front and center for us, and our safety of the staff is really important.
So to kind of shift gears a little bit, another concern that we're hearing about from our clients, and everyone's hearing about it all over the place, it's in the news every day, is really trends as it relates to wages for employees, and therefore how does that translate into potentially price increases going down the line. So let's go over global inflation as it relates to employees, and you being in kind of I would call it, and correct me if I'm wrong, a people heavy business. How is that how have you dealt with that? How have your clients dealt with it? How is it translated into how you run your business every day?
No, that's a great question, Rick, because we're in the cleaning business, but we always refer to ourselves as we're in the people business. I mean, with 120, 130 employees, we are in the business of taking care of our people on a daily basis. So wages in our sector have typically been at the low end. As you look across the blue collar sectors of industry, the cleaning industry or environmental services or janitors, whatever you call them, have been at the lower level of that. Now, over the last couple of years, we have seen a percentage of increases in our sector outpace all the other sectors in business. And so for us specifically, over the last 20 months or so, we've seen increases in our wages upwards of 15.5%, 16% over those 20 months. On the low end, about 8%, but not lower than that. So we're expecting another, to budget for another 4% this year. So we'll be upward between 10 and 20% over a 2.5 year period. And, and that's on top of things like the 401k that we're doing for employees match, healthcare options, things of those nature. But, we're all about the retention of our staff. So.
And how is that? Is that translating into price increases without giving away company secrets? And how are your clients managing that, or are they managing that, or are you having those kinds of conversations?
That's an important point, because you can't take a 15% increase in your wages and pass it along to your customers, or you will be signing the death certificate of your relationship with the customers. So price increases are certainly a discussion that we have with customers on a regular basis. And, while we can't pass along 15%, we try to get 2, 3, 5% where we can, but we're always having to look at ways to be more efficient. Examples of that are things like going from upright corded vacuums to backpack battery powered vacuums, where you can literally move through a building at 5 times the speed and do the same good, effective job. So there's always things in our industry that are coming to fruition that lend themselves to efficiencies that we have to take advantage of.
So that's a kind of a sidebar. So, we're seeing a lot of moves towards automation, right? So, fast food restaurants are automating, and everyone's looking for ways, what I would call artificial intelligence or automation. So although going from an upright to a backpack may not be automation, in many ways the concepts are the same, which is how do you do things faster, right, at the same or hopefully better quality. So that's an interesting thing, and so that leads me to my next question. During this time, right, wages are rising, employee costs are rising. There's still the challenges of shutdowns and lockdowns and all that sort of stuff, the pandemic stuff. So there's just always this balance, and this is a loaded question. So complete leeway to answer as you wish, and I will say yes, I agree with all of it. But there's a difficult choice that who's more important, the customer or the employee, and it's a difficult balance that CEOs, leaders, presidents have to deal with. So how are you managing that?
Really good question. So, the mantra for years and years has been that the customer is king. And the customer is king because if they don't pay us, if we don't get their money, we don't have paychecks, and our people don't have paychecks. So when you look at it that way, yes, customer is king. But we've dug into this a lot more deeply in the last, 5 to 7 years. And for us, our employees are the kings. All right. We really have to treat them well. We really have to look out for their well-being. We really have to vet very carefully, train, onboard, follow up, recognize, reward, support personally and professionally. And what we have found is that when we do all of those things, in addition to holding people accountable when they need to be held accountable, in addition to all of those things, the customer, the staff takes a certain ownership and pride in what they do when they are well supported. And when they take that pride and ownership seriously, the customer is happy. So you ask, which is more important, the customer or the staff? My answer is happy staff equals happy customer.
I told you I would agree with that, with your answer, and actually I really do. So I love it. I'm going to use it too. So I appreciate that. So I guess, you know, kind of as we get to wrap up here in a second, or in a couple of moments here, as I got to know you, you have a very fine detail background, right? And what I mean by that, and you're in a business that people would look from the outside and say that's the broad strokes, right? So you and your wife are both classically trained, you know, performance artists, one trombonist, the other pianist. Those are very fine, detail-oriented businesses or endeavors, and you're applying that, from what I can see, to what is a broad strokes kind of a business, cleaning, right? People don't think of, you know, the little details of cleaning, but it's so important. And I think it goes to a lot that says, you know, of your 4 children, 2 are already in the business, and you know, making this business grow and transition into something that has a true legacy. So if you could, for a minute or two, I'd love for you to give the Populist commercial, make sure that you incorporate your phone number, your website, anything like that, where you can, you know, help spread the word of what you're all doing and how you transition from, you know, someone who's very detailed in his studies to this broad strokes, what I would call broad strokes kind of a business.
Well, you did your homework on me, Rick. So yeah, I come from a classically musical background. Both of my parents were classical pianists, performers, composers, and so we were raised in a strict musically trained background coming up as kids, and went to college on music scholarships. And then but you know, I sort of fell into this cleaning thing when I was a teenager, helping out my dad here and there, and then it was like, hey, this works okay. And I've never actually worked for anybody else, so and then I got out of college and decided to just go for it, and we grew this business. And but you know, our society is one of, I mean, the American way here is opportunity, and that's where my heart really lies. And so we're in the cleaning business, yes, and we're helping people that are of a very blue collar, common folk status of life, but they're real people, real genuine middle class people, and I love being a part of that every day. And so, you know, every time we have an opportunity to help someone, whether it's a customer and a problem they're having in their building, or whether it's a staff member because they've lost family members throughout, you know, COVID or whatnot. That's what this is all about, and really being able to excel and find those opportunities for our staff. As a result of, you know, the detailed background, we have some core values that we live by, we hire by, we reward by, we discipline by, we fire by. They're not just stuck on the wall somewhere. They are the rudder that guides the ship. And so we're really focused on those. In terms of how people can get a hold of us, populistcleaning.com, Populist cleaning.com. Also 734-482-1800 is our phone number.
Can you repeat that? 734-432-1800?
734-482. 1800.
I'm dyslexic, I guess. But yeah. I'm glad you clarified, because the more you say it, the more it's easier for people to remember it. And
absolutely. Yes.
Right. Great. So Mike, I really want to thank you for being here. I really want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your organization, because those things that you mentioned about your rudder, we get to see them every day from the inside. And I can attest that they're not just words, and how you approach your business, your outside interests, and why people would want to work there are because of that rudder. So I appreciate you being here today. Appreciate you sharing some ideas, and look forward to doing this again as time marches on.
Thank you very much, Rick. I appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Have a great day, and chat with you soon.
All right. Take care.